Hi, this is Amy Mahali with Be Well Clinic, and we are doing another part of gardening. I told you that this spring I'm taking you through my gardening, and we are at the next stage. So, today is seed planting. As you can see, I actually have some seedlings from a seed that I planted a couple weeks ago, and I'm so excited that they've already come up. There's artichokes and echinacea plants that are here that are already come up. Today we are going to plant some broccoli. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this in my garden, but this is a really fun broccoli, so we're going to put it in, and I can give it away to friends if I don't use it myself. So when I'm doing this, you can see that I'm not doing a separate seed for each thing, or a separate place of dirt. So I've been keeping the soil wet with a spray bottle, and it's probably a little bit too moist, or not quite moist enough, sorry. But it's not bad. It's not super dry. You want to make sure to not plant your seeds in very dry soil, because if you do and then you try to water them enough, the water might bead off and run off. You might have to end up taking all the soil out, putting it into some kind of pot, getting water in it so that it actually is not hydrophobic or afraid of the water, right? The water's running off. You actually want it to be quite moist. So you can see like this is super dry and the water's just going to come right off of that. But if we have this darker stuff, even though this is not wet soil, the water will go into that soil, and that's really important for doing seeds. So I've been spraying with the water bottle some, but we're going to make sure these are very wet, and I'm going to get in with my finger and dig around a little bit in it, and then we'll put the seeds in according to the directions. Remember, I'm doing seeds according to the lunar calendar in the app that I have. And so that's why I'm not planting other seeds today. I'm planting this one because this is the one that's going to coordinate with what time it is. So that's why I'm going to plant these in stages, depending on what the lunar cycle is. And then plant and transplant are different. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this with water, get it all wet, and then we'll come back to putting in the seed depth and figuring out what we're going to do for that. Okay, so I got it all watered down and made sure that this is good. And I'm going to pick these two. I was deciding where I wanted to put them, but I'm going to pick these two for planting the broccoli seeds. And then I'm going to look at my packet. Some packets don't have directions, but this packet is telling me that we need the seed depth, which is 1/4 to 1/2 inch. The plants are going to be 12 inches apart. What I love about these is I don't care about plant spacing. There just needs to be enough room for them to come up. And like these are a little too close to each other, but we're going to transplant these in a week or so. Like they're so beautiful and big. I'm going to transplant these to more space or a different container in about a week or two. And so this is really just for baby seeds. And when I learned about doing it this way, this was the way that I've been able to do seeds in a very small space with a very small house, because I can plant them quite close together. And then as soon as they're getting big enough, I'm already planning to transplant them into like their individual pots. And I do a pretty big pot size so that I can just transplant into a pot that may just be the only transplant till they go out. Sometimes I transplant again, but often I just do babies, then kids, I guess, right? And then teenagers go outside. So I'm usually not transplanting multiple times. And this allows me to get a whole bunch of seeds in with only a few trays on the shelf where the light is. So that is allowing me to get a ton of seeds in it without having to have a huge amount of space like a greenhouse or something like that. So I love this method and it works well. And if you time it right with the seasons, you can get the plants, they're big enough to go outside by the time they're big enough to need to have the space to go outside, right? Which is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put some broccoli out here. Broccolis are so round, they're super fun. This tray, I've actually created a depth that will allow me to put the seeds on top and then put dirt on top of the depth so I don't have to like dig them in. So I'm going to just drop these along, and it doesn't, I can kind of see where they're going, but it doesn't super matter like how thick they are because I can thin the seedlings. Some plants will separate, like the roots will get entangled more, and some plants they'll get entangled less and you can separate them more easily. But this, when they get bigger, when they're smaller, they're just a couple leaves, then that's totally fine to have them be pretty close. But I'm spacing them out maybe 1/4 inch a piece. Okay, so I did some seeds on the 2 rows. Oh, those are right next to each other. We'll see. Remember, not every seed germinates, so it's not always a bad idea to plant a little thicker also. And then, remembering what those two are, I'm going to take some of this very nice dirt and put it just on top, so giving it that 1/4 or 1/2 an inch to cover. And then I'm going to just gently tap it down, and then I'm going to put some water on top. I love thinking about just like a drizzle of nighttime rain when I'm thinking about watering my plants. I don't know why that picture is so lovely to me, but I just think like, oh, I'm just drizzling a light nighttime rain on them. Also, the seeds, you don't need to put them under lights until the sprouts come up. So seeds can germinate without light, and then after they've germinated, you need to find space for light. So these ones will get light because these are getting light, but when the first, I don't know, 8 or 9 days until I saw the first one of these come up, I wasn't putting my light on yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna get it a little wet. And then it's a really great idea to have some kind of stick or something to label what these seeds are. I need to get on that. I know what these are because there's only 2 of them, and I've had the packets. I just sit the packets on top of them after I put the lid on. And so that's what I'm doing right now, but I absolutely need to get actual sticks. So probably the next video you'll see my sticks. But I don't have them yet because I just have now 3 types of seeds. When I do main seed planting, I definitely get the labeling per row, so I know what's going on. So there's planting seeds. I hope that makes that really achievable for you. It's really easy. I'm doing this here on my kitchen floor. This is where I always plant because it's super easy to let the dirt dry and then sweep it up. So that's what I do. So we're going to put the lid on this and take it back to the plant shelf where the light is on, and that is the story. I hope that you enjoy planting your own seeds this spring.